All right, so you're getting ready for a fine arts instructor interview, and I bet you're feeling kind of that mix of excitement and also those like what if nerves.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally
Yeah.
get it. I mean, it's a big deal. So that's why we are doing this deep dive into RoleCatcher's resources.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just talking about, surface level tips.
Right.
We're going deep. We're getting into the like real insider scoop. It's like a cheat sheet
Yeah.
to help you decode what those interviewers are really looking for and how to like just nail those curveball questions.
Absolutely.
And maybe even how AI can be your secret weapon.
That's right. We want to arm you with the insights and the strategies to turn those nerves into like, I've got this confidence.
Yeah, I love that energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just set the stage here. Fine arts instructor, it's not just about being an artist.
Right.
You're an educator, right?
Exactly.
Most likely at a specialized school or conservatory.
Yeah.
So we're talking drawing, painting, sculpting, the whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
But also the theory and history behind it all.
Absolutely. And the interviewers are going to be looking for that spark, for sure.
Yeah.
That passion for art. But just as important are your teaching skills.
Oh, for sure.
Can you inspire a room full of students?
Right.
Can you guide their growth effectively? That's what they're really assessing.
Okay, so let's jump right into some of those sample questions straight from RoleCatcher's interview guide.
Let's do it.
These are the kind that just pop up in almost every art instructor interview.
Yeah.
And the first one is, what inspired you to pursue a career in fine arts instruction?
Yeah.
Now, this might seem pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But there's a lot lurking beneath the surface, right?
Absolutely. It seems simple, but they're really digging for your WHY.
Right.
What's the driving force behind your decision to teach?
Yes.
It's not enough to say, oh, I love art.
Right.
They want to understand those specific experiences.
Right.
The mentors, maybe the turning points that ignited that passion for you to share your knowledge with others.
So it's about connecting the dots between your personal art journey and your aspirations as an educator.
Mm-hmm.
So was there a specific artist who mentored you?
Right.
Whose approach to teaching you were just like, wow, this is it.
Yeah.
This is how I want to do it.
Well,
Or was there a moment in your own artistic development that made you realize, hey, I want to help other people experience this?
exactly. Think about how those experiences fuel your desire to teach. The key here is authenticity.
Yes.
Let your genuine passion shine through.
Yeah, don't give them a canned response.
Yeah.
Tell your story.
Exactly.
And RoleCatcher actually provides some really great example responses to this question.
They do.
Now, of course, they're not meant to be like copied verbatim,
Right.
but they're super helpful in seeing how to craft an answer that's authentic and memorable.
Yeah, they give you that framework, that structure to build upon. But remember, it's about infusing those examples with your own unique voice and your own experiences.
Okay, so let's move on to a question that dives into your teaching philosophy, which is, what teaching methods do you employ to ensure your students are engaged and interested in the material? We've all sat through those dry art history lectures.
Oh, yeah.
Interviewers want to know, you're not going to be that teacher.
Exactly.
They want to know how you're going to bring this subject to life.
Think beyond the traditional lecture format. Do you incorporate hands-on activities?
Yep.
Group critiques?
Huh?
Maybe even digital sculpting software?
Ooh, that's cool.
This is your chance to showcase your creativity and innovation as an educator.
And don't just list the methods.
Yeah.
Give some concrete examples.
Exactly.
Like walk them through a specific lesson or activity where you use that particular method.
Yeah.
What were the challenges? What were the outcomes?
Yeah, paint that vivid picture that
Yeah.
shows that you've actually put these ideas into practice.
Okay, speaking of practice, the next question focuses on assessing student progress. How do you assess the progress of your students and ensure they are meeting the learning objectives? So this isn't just about like slapping a grade on a project.
Right.
This is about demonstrating that you're invested in each student's individual growth.
Exactly.
So think beyond traditional tests and exams.
Yeah.
Do you incorporate studio critiques where students give each other constructive feedback?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Right? Do you hold portfolio reviews where you have one-on-one conversations with students about their artistic development? Maybe you even incorporate student-led teaching sessions.
Oh, I love that idea.
Right.
Where students take ownership of their learning by presenting on a topic or technique.
All of these methods show that you're fostering a dynamic and interactive learning environment
Yes.
where students can thrive. Okay, on to a question that is huge in art education.
Okay.
How do you adapt your teaching methods for students with different learning styles or abilities?
That's a big one.
This one is all about demonstrating your commitment to creating an inclusive and accessible classroom where every student can succeed.
Remember, art education isn't a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
You know, some students are visual learners, others learn by doing. You might have students with physical limitations that require adjustments to the learning environment or activities.
This is where specific anecdotes can really make you shine.
Yes.
So did you have a student who struggled with traditional drawing techniques, but then they excelled at digital art?
Right.
How did you adjust your teaching to support their growth?
Those stories really demonstrate a genuine commitment to student success.
Exactly. Okay, so this next question can be particularly interesting. How do you stay current with new trends and developments in the fine arts world? And how do you incorporate these into your teaching? So the art world is constantly evolving.
Always.
So interviewers want to know that you're not stuck in the past.
Right.
You are engaged with the contemporary art scene. And you're bringing that fresh perspective back to the classroom.
Exactly.
So think about the resources that you rely on to stay informed and inspired.
Yeah.
Do you devour art blogs?
Uh-huh.
Attend gallery openings? Connect with artists on social media?
All great things.
Sharing those resources not only shows that you're in the loop, but it also highlights your own passion for continuous learning.
Exactly. And don't forget to connect the dots back to your teaching.
Right.
How do those outside experiences inform your curriculum or inspire new teaching approaches?
Right. Did a thought-provoking exhibition spark a lively debate among your students?
Yeah.
Did a new artistic movement inspire you to introduce a fresh perspective on a traditional technique?
It's all about showing that you're a bridge between the wider art world and your students.
Yes.
You're constantly enriching their learning with fresh inspiration and perspectives.
Okay, so now shifting gears a bit to a question that's crucial in any educational setting, which is how do you create a positive and inclusive learning environment for all students? Now, this goes beyond just being nice.
Right.
Art can be deeply personal, and you need to create a space where students feel safe to take risks and express themselves authentically.
Yeah.
So what are your strategies for building that trust and respect? Maybe you have a zero-tolerance policy for critique that's not constructive.
Right.
Maybe you make a point of celebrating the diversity of styles and backgrounds in your classroom, ensuring that everyone feels seen and valued.
It's about being mindful of the power dynamics that can exist in a classroom setting, particularly when it comes to critiquing each other's work. Do you provide clear guidelines for giving and receiving feedback?
Yes.
Do you facilitate open dialogues about issues of representation and cultural appropriation in art?
That's a good point.
This question is your opportunity to really showcase your understanding of the nuances of creating an equitable and inclusive learning space.
Now let's talk about a question that gets to the heart of the art-making process, which is how do you balance teaching the technical skills needed for fine arts with the creative aspect of the subject?
Ooh, that's the classic struggle.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Like learning scales before you can compose a symphony.
Exactly. You need to lay that foundation of technical skills,
Uh-huh.
but also nurture those sparks of creativity.
Yeah. So how do you do that? Maybe you have a structured technique day followed by a free exploration day.
That's a great idea.
Right. Or maybe you demonstrate how mastering technical skills can actually liberate creativity and lead to more innovative work.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating that you understand the interplay between those two essential elements.
Yeah.
And you have a thoughtful approach to weaving them together in your teaching.
Speaking of challenges, let's address one that every teacher faces, which is how do you handle challenging students or situations in the classroom?
Oh, yeah. Let's be real. It happens.
It does happen.
You know, maybe a student is disruptive or two students have a conflict. The interviewers want to know that you can handle those tough moments while maintaining a safe and productive space for everyone.
So think about specific strategies that you've used successfully.
Yeah.
Do you emphasize active listening and open communication? Do you set clear boundaries and consequences?
Right.
Maybe you've facilitated student-led conflict resolution where students work together to find solutions.
Sharing those experiences, the successes and the learning moments really shows that you're not afraid of those tricky situations and that you have the skills to navigate them professionally.
And remember, it's okay to acknowledge that you don't have all the answers.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes the best approach is to seek support from your colleagues or administrators.
Yeah, absolutely.
Demonstrating that you're not afraid to ask for help when needed shows that you're committed to creating the best possible learning environment for your students.
Exactly.
Okay, on to the last question for this section, which is all about encouraging that spirit of exploration and risk-taking that is so essential to artistic growth. How do you encourage students to take risks and experiment with their art? Think about how you create that no wrong answers atmosphere in your classroom.
Right.
Maybe you incorporate assignments that encourage failure as a necessary step in the creative process.
Yeah.
Or perhaps you start each class with a playful warm-up that gets everybody out of their comfort zones and thinking outside the box.
Sharing your own experiences with artistic risk-taking can be really powerful here.
Oh, totally.
Have you ever completely abandoned a project halfway through because it just wasn't working, only to discover something even more exciting in the process?
Yes.
Tell that story. It shows students that you're not just preaching,
Right.
you're walking the walk.
Those personal anecdotes make your teaching philosophy come alive and inspire students to embrace the unknown and push the boundaries of their own creativity.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
exploring some key questions that you're likely to encounter in a fine arts instructor interview. But before we dive into the next set of questions,
Okay.
let's take a quick detour and talk about how AI can actually help you prepare for these interviews.
Ooh, yes, that's right. RoleCatcher isn't just a library of interview questions.
Right?
It also offers powerful AI tools that can help you tailor your answers and refine your delivery.
Really?
It's like having a personal interview coach right in your pocket.
That sounds amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it works?
Absolutely. So let's say you found a specific fine arts instructor position that you're really excited about. You can actually use RoleCatcher's AI to analyze that job description
Okay.
and pinpoint the key skills and experience that that employer is looking for.
So it's about going beyond the generic job title and really understanding the specific nuances of that particular role.
Precisely. And once you've identified those key elements, you can use RoleCatcher's AI to tailor your resume and your interview answers
All right.
to highlight those specific skills and experiences.
It's almost like having a secret weapon.
It is.
That helps you stand out from the competition
Yeah,
and demonstrate that you're the perfect fit for the job.
exactly. But it doesn't stop there.
Oh.
RoleCatcher's AI can also provide feedback on your interview responses
Wow.
to help you identify areas where you can strengthen your answers.
Okay.
You can even use it to practice your answers via video
Wow.
and receive personalized feedback on your delivery and even your nonverbal communication.
That is incredible. It's like having a virtual mock interview with an expert who can provide tailored guidance and help you boost your confidence.
Exactly.
So now with this AI advantage, you're not just walking into that interview prepared.
Right.
You're walking in empowered, knowing that you've got this cutting-edge technology on your side.
Yeah.
But as we move on to part 2 of our deep dive,
Okay.
keep in mind that while these AI tools are incredibly powerful, they're not a substitute for genuine passion and preparation.
That's right. AI can definitely help you refine your presentation and tailor your answers. But it's your unique skills, experience, and enthusiasm that will truly make you shine.
Yeah, it's about using AI as a tool to amplify your strengths and present yourself in the best possible light. So take advantage of these incredible resources,
Yeah.
but remember to bring your authentic self to the table.
Yeah.
That's what will truly make you stand out and land that dream job.
Absolutely.
Right, so we'll be back in part 2 to dig into even more of these juicy interview
I
questions.
can't wait.
Stay tuned.
See you then. Okay, so we've explored how AI can really be a game changer in your job search.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But let's get back to those interview questions.
Right.
Remember, we want to really dig into these sample questions and how to approach them. Not just giving the right answer, but showcasing who you are as an educator and an artist.
Totally. Your answers should really reflect your teaching philosophy, your passion for art, and that genuine desire to help your students succeed. Okay, so let's revisit that first question. What inspired you to pursue a career in fine arts instruction? We touched on this a little bit earlier, but I think it's worth diving a little deeper.
Yeah, I agree. It's about pinpointing those specific moments, those sparks that really ignited your passion for teaching.
So maybe it was witnessing that aha moment
Yeah.
when a student finally grasped a challenging technique. You know, that look of pure joy and accomplishment.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe it was the realization that your own artistic practice deepened and evolved through the act of teaching others.
Think about how those experiences shaped your understanding of the impact of art education. It can be truly transformative
Yeah.
for both the student and the teacher. And remember, Vulnerability can be powerful.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay to share your struggles,
Right.
how those challenges ultimately led you to this path.
Right. Did you initially resist the idea of teaching only to discover it was your true calling?
Exactly.
Those kinds of stories resonate with authenticity.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to let your guard down and share that genuine journey. Okay, let's move on to what teaching methods do you employ to ensure your students are engaged and interested in the material? We talked about incorporating hands-on activities, group critiques, and even technology.
Right.
But I think it's crucial to go beyond just listing those methods. Think about how you tailor your approach to the specific subject matter.
That's a great point. A
Yeah.
still life drawing class is going to call for a different approach than, say, a performance art workshop.
Exactly. If you're teaching a course on Renaissance painting techniques,
Hmm.
maybe you organize a field trip to a museum
Oh, cool.
to study the masters up close and personal.
Nice.
Or you could have students research the social and political climate of that era
Mm-hmm.
to really understand the historical context.
And if you're teaching a digital art class, you might introduce students to online communities and resources
Yeah.
where they can connect with other artists and showcase their work.
It's all about demonstrating that you're thoughtful and intentional with your curriculum.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not just like throwing a bunch of random activities together
Right.
and hoping something sticks.
Right.
You're strategically designing your curriculum to engage students and foster deeper learning.
Exactly. Let's talk about assessment now.
Okay.
That third question. How do you assess the progress of your students and ensure that they are meeting the learning objectives? This one can be tricky.
It can.
Hmm.
We touched on incorporating a variety of methods like studio critiques and portfolio reviews,
Mm-hmm.
but there's another layer to consider here. How do you provide feedback that's both constructive and encouraging?
That's so important. Art can be so personal, and feedback that feels harsh or dismissive can be really damaging to a student's creative spirit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So think about specific strategies you use to deliver feedback that helps students grow without crushing their enthusiasm.
One approach I found helpful is the sandwich method.
Okay.
Start by highlighting the strengths of a piece,
Uh-huh.
then gently address areas for improvement,
Mhm.
and then wrap it up with more positive reinforcement.
I love that you're acknowledging their efforts and accomplishments while also providing guidance for growth.
Right.
It's about striking that balance between encouragement and constructive criticism.
Right. And it's also important to remember that not all students respond to feedback in the same way.
Right.
Some might thrive on direct and specific critiques, while others need a more gentle and encouraging approach.
That's where that adaptability that we talked about earlier comes into play.
Exactly.
It's about being attuned to the individual needs of your students
Mm-hmm.
and tailoring your feedback accordingly.
You're not just evaluating their technical skills, you're nurturing their artistic development and their confidence as creators.
Okay, let's move on to question 4, which is all about inclusivity.
Okay.
How do you adapt your teaching methods for students with different learning styles or abilities? This question goes to the heart of creating an equitable and accessible learning environment.
We know that art education isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, so how do you ensure that all students have the opportunity to thrive in your classroom?
It starts with recognizing that there are many different ways to learn and create.
Mm-hmm.
Some students are visual learners,
Yeah.
excelling at observing and replicating techniques, while others are kinesthetic learners who need to move and experiment.
Right.
Some might need more structure and guidance,
Mm-hmm.
while others flourish in a more independent, self-directed environment.
Exactly.
And of course, some students may have physical limitations that require specific accommodations.
Right.
So this question is a chance to showcase your commitment to creating a welcoming and inclusive space where all students feel valued and supported.
Absolutely.
Share specific examples of how you've differentiated your instruction in the past.
Yeah.
Think about a time you modified a hands-on activity to make it accessible for a student with limited mobility.
Yeah.
Or maybe you created alternative assessment methods for a student who struggled with traditional exams.
Mm-hmm.
Highlight those moments where you went the extra mile to ensure every student had the tools and support they needed to succeed.
It speaks volumes about your dedication as an educator.
And it's okay to acknowledge that you're still learning and growing in this area.
Absolutely. Inclusive education is an ongoing journey.
Yes.
And being open about your commitment to that journey is a strength, not a weakness. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about staying current in the ever-evolving world of art. Question 5 asks, how do you stay current with new trends and developments in the fine arts world, and how do you incorporate these into your teaching?
This is where your own passion for art comes into play.
Yeah,
It's about demonstrating that you're not just teaching from a textbook.
right.
You're actively engaged in the contemporary art scene, a lifelong learner who is constantly seeking out new inspiration and knowledge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you attend exhibitions and gallery openings,
Mhm.
read art magazines and blogs,
Yeah.
follow artists and critics on social media,
Right.
share those resources and experiences that keep you informed and inspired?
And don't forget to connect the dots back to your teaching.
Yeah.
How do those outside experiences inform your curriculum or inspire new teaching approaches?
Did a thought-provoking exhibition spark a lively discussion in your classroom?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Did a new artistic movement inspire you to introduce a fresh perspective on a traditional technique?
Right.
Show them you're not just absorbing information passively.
Hmm.
You're actively using it to enrich your teaching and expose your students to the vibrant world of contemporary art.
Okay, let's move on to question 6, which focuses on building a positive and inclusive learning environment. How do you create a positive and inclusive learning environment for all students? We've touched on this a little bit throughout our conversation,
Right.
but it's so essential in art education that it deserves its own dedicated focus.
It's not just about preventing bullying or discrimination. It's
Wow.
about cultivating a space where all students feel safe, respected, and empowered to express themselves authentically.
So think about the specific actions you take to create that atmosphere.
Do you establish clear guidelines for respectful communication and critique?
Mhm.
Do you encourage collaboration and peer support? Do you incorporate art from diverse cultures and historical periods into your curriculum?
Those are great points.
It's also about being mindful of your own biases and assumptions.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that your teaching is inclusive and equitable for all students, regardless of their background, their identity, or their learning style?
This question really lets you demonstrate your commitment to creating a truly welcoming and supportive learning environment where every student has the opportunity to thrive.
Okay, now let's tackle question 7. How do you balance teaching the technical skills needed for fine arts with the creative aspect of the subject? This one can feel like walking a tightrope, right?
It can.
Huh.
It's about finding that perfect balance between structure and freedom, discipline, and experimentation. You want to equip your students with the foundational skills they need to excel,
Right.
but you also want to nurture their creative spirits and encourage them to push boundaries.
So how do you strike that balance?
Yeah.
Do you incorporate both structured exercises and more open-ended explorations into your curriculum? Do you encourage students to experiment with different mediums and styles, even if it means deviating from the traditional curriculum?
Right.
Maybe you even invite guest artists
Oh, that's a cool idea.
who embody different approaches to art making,
I like that.
exposing your students to a wider range of possibilities.
The key is to show that you understand the interconnectedness of technical mastery and creative expression.
Right.
Help students see that technical skills aren't just rules to be followed,
Yeah.
but tools they can use to bring their unique visions to life.
And sometimes it's about letting go of the rules altogether and embracing the joy of experimentation and discovery.
Okay, now for question 8. How do you handle challenging students or situations in the classroom?
Oh, yeah, let's face it. Every teacher encounters challenging moments.
Yeah, that comes with the territory.
It could be a disruptive student conflict between classmates or a student who's struggling with personal issues that impact their learning. So this question really assesses your ability to maintain a positive and productive learning environment, even when things get tough.
It's about demonstrating your classroom management skills, your conflict resolution strategies,
Yeah.
and your ability to support students facing challenges.
Yeah.
Think about specific scenarios you've encountered and how you handled them.
Did you use active listening to de-escalate a conflict? Did you collaborate with parents or counselors to support a struggling student?
Yeah.
Share those experiences, the successes and learning moments, to show you're prepared to navigate those inevitable bumps in the road with grace and professionalism.
And remember, it's okay to acknowledge that you don't have all the answers.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the best approach is to seek support from your colleagues or administrators.
Demonstrating that you're not afraid to ask for help when needed shows that you're committed to creating the best possible learning environment for your students.
Okay, last but not least, how do you encourage students to take risks and experiment with their art?
This question is all about fostering that creative spark, that spirit of innovation and exploration.
Yes.
Helping students see that there are no wrong answers in art,
Right.
only opportunities for growth and discovery.
So how do you create that atmosphere in your classroom? Do you encourage failure as
Yeah.
a necessary step in the creative process?
Yeah.
Do you celebrate unique and unconventional approaches to art making?
Mm-hmm.
Do you share your own experiences with risk-taking and experimentation, showing students it's okay to step outside their comfort zones?
Yeah.
Maybe you even incorporate assignments that specifically challenge students to break the rules
Right.
and explore uncharted territory.
The key is to show that you're not just teaching techniques. You're cultivating a mindset of curiosity, courage, and creative freedom.
You're empowering your students to find their unique voices and express themselves authentically.
Right.
You're inspiring them to embrace the unknown and to see the world through an artist's eyes.
And that is the true magic of art education.
Wow, we have covered a lot of ground today, haven't we?
It's been quite a journey.
From unpacking those common interview questions to how AI can be a real game changer in a job search.
Absolutely. But remember, this is just a taste of what RoleCatcher offers.
Right.
They have a treasure trove of resources to help prepare you for every step of landing that dream job as a fine arts instructor.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that AI advantage that we talked about. It's like having a personalized career coach right in your pocket,
Yeah.
guiding you to tailor your resume and interview answers, practice your delivery, even pinpoint areas you could strengthen.
It's all about harnessing the power of technology to showcase your unique talents and really shine in front of potential employers.
Okay, so before we wrap up our deep dive,
Yeah.
let's zoom out for a second and think about the bigger picture here.
Okay.
What does it mean to be a fine arts instructor in today's world?
That's a great question.
It's a question worth pondering. You know, the art world is constantly evolving, shaped by technology, social movements, global events. As an educator, you're not just teaching technical skills. You're nurturing creative minds, fostering critical thinking, inspiring a new generation of artists.
You have this incredible opportunity to instill a sense of cultural awareness and social responsibility in your students, empowering them to use their art to make a meaningful impact on the world.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility.
It is.
But it's also an incredibly rewarding journey.
Absolutely.
So as you gear up for that interview,
Yeah?
remember to reconnect with your why. Why did you choose this path? What impact do you hope to have on your students and on the world around you? Let that passion and that purpose shine through in your answers. And remember, you've got this. With thorough preparation, genuine enthusiasm for art, education, and support from resources like RoleCatcher, you are well on your way to landing that dream job.
Now go out there and make some art happen.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of fine arts instruction. We'll see you next time for another insightful exploration.